Clay and Avonte Maddox?
They're day to day. Both of them are day to day. We're just going through the process of in this training room and everything like that. But they're both day to day. We'll see what happens as the week goes on.
You said Monday that you have something on Brandon Brooks today. Maybe do you have any update?
Yeah, no new update. I'm sorry. I got nothing new there for you. So again, we'll see as the week goes on. Yeah, I think he's doing well. Again, he's in there in the training room. He's still in meetings, and just like seeing him every day in those meetings because he gives good perspective to what's going on.
Sweat and Landon also seem like they got banged up on Sunday.
Yeah, Josh is in the concussion protocol right now, and then Landon's good, and we'll be all right.
Nick, we saw Tyree Jackson get his feet wet a little bit last week. I think 14 snaps or so. What kind of role do you envision for him over these next 8 games?
Yeah, we did some things out of 13 personnel that game, and so that gave us an opportunity to play all 3 of the tight ends with Jack and Dallas and Tyree. Jack's coming along nice, and so we still want to continue to get him reps. But with Tyree, again, that's kind of something that we have that a lot of teams don't know what Tyree is or what he can do, and so we'll keep that close to our vest.
Chargers called timeout when you had him out there on the goal line.
Yeah, you know what? I think what they thought, like when we put in the 2 tight ends, I think they thought we might have been in 12 personnel. I don't know this. I mean, I just know it from being on headsets for a long time. Like you throw 2 tight ends out there, you don't see the back come off. You think that they probably thought, hey, they got 12 personnel in, and we really were in 0-2 personnel, and so that was probably just that confusion right there.
You guys promoted Jordan Howard to the 53. What has he kind of given you, especially like the last 2 weeks with Miles being
Yeah, he's done his job when he's went in there. He's hit the holes nice. He's hit the holes downhill, and he's a big man, and to have to tackle him, what do you have, 19, 17 carries? To have to tackle him 17 times in a game, that will wear a defense down. And so he's just given us that a good spark there in the run game, and the way he runs hard, and he's just being himself. And so he's running hard, seeing the hole, hitting the hole, and being hard to tackle because he's a big man.
Nick, as an offensive coach, what is Vic Fangio? He's been doing it for so long. What couple things does he do that makes things so difficult for offense?
I've probably been on teams that have played him a handful of times, and so you always go back and look at all those tapes and your notes and everything like that. He's always gonna. I always think with him, you see where they are ranked in run defense. They're always going to try to stop the run first, and he does a good job of that, of taking away the run game, of trying to take away the run game, and trying to do the things he needs to do to do that. There's a lot of different ways to do that. So, and you always see his guys play hard, so that the team probably really follows him. He's good. Again, I haven't been around him, but probably a good leader. They play hard. They're technically sound. Again, anytime I kind of think about what do I want another coach to think about my team, I always want them to think we're fundamentally sound, and because I just think that's the biggest compliment you can give somebody. So I always see his teams being fundamentally sound, stopping the run, and playing hard.
And Nick, you've spoken about how the offense has changed, evolved here. What prompted that, and why wasn't the offense something where, in some other situations you said we're going to double down on what we do? Why was the offense not that case, and you did make that change?
Well, that's a process. I don't think, again, you never say I'm going to double down on scheme, because scheme changes based off of who your players are over and over and over, and it's not something that typically, Zach, happens right overnight, right? There's an evolution to it, and there's a process to get to it, and so sometimes the answer comes fast, sometimes it doesn't, and that's just been my, you want it to come as fast as you possibly can get. You want it to come in the off season. That's just not a reality sometimes, and so and again, I think what I've said in the past is like. Schedules can change, schemes can change, and et cetera. Some of those things can change, but here are the things we're doubling down on. And so that to me is never scheme, because scheme is just always, about who your players are, what they can do, figuring out who you are as you go. And so that's something that can change, and that I don't want to say you don't double down on it. You double down on figuring out what your players can do well.
Nick, you said that Jalen made some plays that you didn't think other quarterbacks could make in that game. Which plays were you thinking about, and what skill set does he have, do you think that others don't?
Again, the some of the things he did when he escaped the pocket on some of those third downs, there was, particularly you think about the one. You think about the one play where he did the flip over top of Tranquil and made a really nice play there. You think about the one where they went blitz zero on us, and this was one he scrambled. Bosa came free off the edge because we just couldn't block everybody. They brought one more than you could block. Bosa came free off the edge. He spun around and got a big play off the sideline. I mean, those are things that it's tough. I mean, they had every gap filled, and you had an all-pro guy coming off the edge free that he made a miss. I mean, so those are the two that really stick out in my mind. Again, I thought he did a good job delivering the football, and 11 of 17 with a good quarterback rating. I'm not sure what 115 maybe. And so, he did a good job of playing quarterback and doing things, but, and so he made some strikes when he needed to. He had a good throw to Devontae on the sideline, where Devontae slipped the tackle and went out, that he threw it on really good rhythm. But it was those couple plays that he made with his feet. Those are the plays that I just know that a lot of guys can't make in this league, and he made it. He made it look. I don't want to say he made it look easy because it wasn't easy, but he just has so much athleticism to get around there. Again, when Bosa comes free, again, it's not like you can pick and choose when a team goes blitz zero who comes free. You protect the inside first, and the outside guys come free. And it was Bosa, and I was around Bosa for 2 years and seen him make a heck of a lot of plays. There was no shortage of tape that we watched last week and saw him make a ton of plays. Ton of respect for him, but it was an unbelievable play by Jalen.
When you evaluate Jalen, how do you weigh those plays he makes with his legs versus his ability to pass the ball?
Yeah, again, it's not going to always look like normal, I guess to say. Like, it's going to look different, it's going to look different, but he's being very efficient with the football. And so, again, I know we talk about this all the time. There's going to be some times where you're going to be like, man, I want you to rip it in there, but he sees something and he goes around the edge. And so, again, there's got to be a happy medium there. Like, we still got to be able to make the throws in the pocket when he can. But I thought the ones that he left in the pocket this week were warranted when he needed to. And so, yeah, you don't want to make him somebody he's not, but you just want to make him as well-rounded as a player as we can, and he wants to be as well-rounded as a player as he can be. And so there's a fine line. Again, I think I've said this before that I'm not trying to try to make him somebody he's not, and I know, so I gotta be careful too. Like, hey, hang in there and make this play. Well, he sees stuff, and he sees stuff in there where there's a gap or there's an edge, whatever edge it might be, and so that's instincts. And so I think that's always something that's underrated in players. Like, you always look at their skill and what they have, and like instincts is a big piece of this, right? Because I think that we've been around players, and in my past I've been around players that have all the skill in the world, but they may lack a little bit of instinct, and that instinct is a big time separator in making plays.
What kind of adjustment has that been for you? We've talked a lot about how you didn't have an athletic quarterback like him before. So for you, like calling plays, and if the offense is being efficient in a different way than you're calling the plays, has that been a learning process for you, just sort of like appreciating that?
No, not really. I get excited that we're adjusting, and that's just what always was taught growing up is, hey, you gotta, again, when you grow up with a high school football coach and your brother's a high school football coach, right? The talent in the town changes, from year to year. And so I think I've mentioned this about my brother. Like, my one brother, he Jay, he went to 3 state championship games. He won 2 of them, and one time they went with the pro system, one time they went with the spread system, and they won those 2. And then the third time they went in the wing tee, right? And so I don't know. I just was kind of raised in that. I think I've told him a story about my college coach before, where I left Mount Union. I came back to interview for the offensive coordinator job at Mount Union when Matt Campbell left, who was the head coach at Iowa State, and I started talking about what scheme I might run, and my head coach slammed down his hand and said, "No, you don't even. It's all about the players. It's all about the players. It's all about players." So I've kind of been taught this my whole life, but you feel like you're doing. Again, it's not anything you pat yourself on the back on. It's just what I've was taught in the coaching world, is that it's always about the players. It's always about them and finding what they can do and what they can be successful at.
Different reaction though if it's like you call a play, Jalen gets it out on time, it's a 15-yard completion.
15 yards.
Versus he scrambled for 15
yards.
That's not
15
the
yards
same
is 15 yards is 15 yards. I'm excited either way, and I'm doing it first down. So no, I have no reaction there, and just as long as we're being efficient on offense and doing what our players can do and getting them better fundamentally, protecting the football, creating explosive plays, that's what we look to be.
What's been Brian's influence, Johnson's influence in terms of Jalen, and how we've seen the offense kind of cater more to his skill set?
Yeah, Brian. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Brian's been on the field the last 2 weeks to be able to talk to Jalen on the sideline, so Shane and I can talk through the next series and this and that. So I think he's been a great influence on Jalen on the sideline. And then, yeah, I mean, Brian just brings a wealth of knowledge in a lot of different areas, blitz protection, quarterback play, different styles of quarterbacks. So yeah, Brian's a major key, and I just think we have a really good offensive staff. I can't say enough about our offensive staff and who we have in that room. There's just a lot of guys that have called plays, and Brian's just another contributor. He contributes a lot to a lot of different aspects.
Why did you decide to move downstairs?
Again, so Shane and I could really in between a set, I have to be there with the defense and looking at the defense and anything that's going on right there. And Shane and I are talking in communication. And so, for the first couple weeks, Shane was, again, we adjust things to make it work the best process. Shane would spending time with Jalen on the sideline, looking at the pictures, and we weren't able to get to some talks every time, like if it was a quicker 3 and out or for whatever it was. And so now Brian can look at the pictures with him. Brian can talk to him about things they talked about all week. And, Shane and I are in every quarterback meeting too. So, so we're all but Brian can have that main communication with him. We can say things to Jalen when we need to, and Shane and I can really talk about the next set. And so that's the why behind it, and that's what we've been doing these last 2 weeks.
Getting back to Bo's question, 15 yards is 15 yards after the play. But when you're game planning, when you're getting ready for the game, can you count on off-schedule stuff? How does that, can you bake that in?
Yeah, no, you can't. There's some things you do in the run game. There's some different things that you do with some of the things where we may look like it was off-schedule, but it might not be. But no, you can't plan for that. That's just, again, that's instinct. That's somebody, maybe, again, you don't plan on like, hey, we're going to leave Bosa unblocked, right? But no, it's kind of it's pretty awesome for a coach, because you're like, oh my goodness, we set it up for this, it didn't work, boom, go. And so that's a nice avenue to have. Some quarterbacks do that different way. There's other quarterbacks that do it different ways. So some quarterbacks do it like, hey, did they give me what I wanted here? No, check it down. And we want to continue to build that into Jalen's game. Did they give me what I want? No, check down. It just so happens with Jalen. Did they give me what I want? No, boom, I'm running. So again, that looks different in different ways, and sometimes that check down gets 10 yards, but I don't know. Sometimes it's when he gets that 15, 20 yards. I think I saw something that someone shared something with me that we're number 2 in explosive runs in the NFL, and I think we're at number 8 in explosive passes based off of something that someone told me. And some of those explosive runs come from Jalen just making exciting plays, but they still count, right? They still count.
Jalen mentioned a couple times over the past week that the communication between coaches and players has improved of late. Do you feel like there's been a breakthrough there?
Again, I just think you get more and more comfortable with each other, and you talk more. Jalen and I will talk. We talk every single day, and then Fridays he comes in and we just talk about it. Fridays after everybody leaves, we come in and we just talk about anything other than football. So I just think you grow. The connection grows, the relationship grows, everything grows. And as that grows, the communication gets better, the chemistry gets better. I think that's just a part of growing as a football team. What's up, Mike? Say one more.
In the second quarter, you guys ran 13 with an empty backfield and then ran the draw. With Hurts' mobility, how many options does that kind of give you, and why does that look so dangerous to a defense?
Yeah, so obviously he just gives you a lot of different abilities here based off of different looks that the defense will give us. And so, you could have a 3-way check on a play. You could have different things there that are hard to defend. And so, he just gives you, always the ability to run the football. And then when a team's going to try to keep him in the pocket, that slows down the rush a little bit too. So there's all these different things that defense have to react to based off of who Jalen is and who he is as a player.
All right, thanks guys.